Most of the VC thinks of me as a pop guy. I'm a big pop fan. I follow the charts. But I have other interests too, and other musical interests as well. And one of them is the dude I'm going to talk about today. He's been a favorite of mine over the years. I knew some of his stuff, but I didn't really fully discover him until around 2000. And ever since then, um, I've been a huge fan. He's released so many albums that I had more than enough to choose from, and it was not an easy task, let me tell you. But hopefully it will be fun, and I can let out the rock side of my soul for once. I'm TC Kirkham, and I'm going to talk about the top 30 songs by guitar virtuoso Joe Satriani. Let's rank this! Welcome to Rank This. I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. This week I'm going to count up my top 30 songs by the master of the guitar, Joe Satriani. I became a huge fan of Satriani's around 2000. I'd known some of his stuff before that. I knew the stuff from The Extremist and Surfing with the Alien, but I really became a fan with Engines of Creation in 2000, which I happened to get a free promo copy of when I worked for DiscJockey.com. And ever since then, I have been a Joe Satriani fanatic. I love his stuff. I have a ton of his stuff. All of it's on digital, except for the last two albums, which I've got, both of which I think I got from, well, one I ordered and the other one I got from Black Box. But I love his stuff. Now, there's so much out there that he had well over. I could have made this a hot top 100 if I wanted to, but I didn't want to go that deep. So, and I'll also admit that my choices are going to be different from most people. The songs that he's most familiar with, some of them didn't make the top 30 because I just like some of the album tracks better. Now, some qualifiers. No live albums were included. None of his work with other artists included. None of the vocals included. These are all instrumental rock. His guitar, drum synthesizer, a few other things. And Joe at his very best. It's going to be fun, and if you're a guitar fan like me, if you're a Satriani fan like me, it'll be interesting to hear from you about what you think I left off or ask why I included this. Well, we'll see how it goes. So, let's get started. At number 30, from Engines of Creation, Clouds Race Across the Sky, came out in 2000. Joe is a science fiction fan. He's shown that in so many titles for songs and albums. He's a particular Star Trek fan in particular. I guess I feel for him as a fellow science fiction fan that I really love some of the stuff that he does. Clouds Race Across the Sky has this very ethereal feeling to it. Of course, it is from Engines of Creation, which is considered his most experimental album. He was aiming for more of a techno sound on that album than anything else. And it was a different type of sound for him, and some of his fans were really turned off by it. I fell in love with it, and several songs from that album make this list. And at number 30, the first one to do so is Clouds Race Across the Sky. If you've not heard it, check it out. At number 29, one of several songs from one of his more recent albums, 2018's What Happens Next. The song is Invisible. It's anything but invisible with that craggy guitar clashing at the beginning of the song. Has a great melody, a great drum beat. There's a lot of great drums on that whole album. I guess for me, because I am an extreme sports fan, a lot of Satriani's music have become soundtracks for some extreme sports videos I've tried to put together, compilations and stuff. Invisible hasn't been used yet, but it probably will be in the future, because it has that very extreme sports feel about it. It also fits wrestler Darby Allin. If you've ever seen him, he's a little bit crazy, and he hangs out with the king of the crazies, Travis Pastrana. Invisible has a very great. One thing I like about Satriani is he has great melodies with the music. Sometimes the melodies don't hit me. I think it's why I'm not so much into some other guitarists. I do like them, but I don't love them the way I do Satriani. And Invisible has a great melody that goes with it. Number 29, Invisible from What Happens Next in 2018. Next up, at number 28, the only song, surprisingly, to make the list from Crystal Planet, 1998, it is Ceremony. This song makes me think of the mountains. I don't quite know why. I envision the song playing through a drive through the mountains, and it's very majestic, very fun to listen to. Again, varies in tempo. It's one of his more mid-tempo songs, except for a couple of areas. And like I said, it evokes mountains to me. I don't know why. It just does. It's just a driving. I'd be rocking along with this, driving through the mountains. That would be fantastic. Number 28 from Crystal Planet, Ceremony. My number 27 is the first of 6 songs from my favorite Satriani album of all time, 2015's Shockwave Supernova. I love that album. I play that album constantly. You'll see those songs at the top of my Spotify playlist when it comes to Satriani, because I just love it. And the first of the songs from that album to make the list is at number 27, If There Is No Heaven. I like the very... It sounds almost like it was reversed at the beginning and the end to give it this weird, otherworldly feel. And then when you get into the song, it's this melodic, hard-driving beat song that doesn't necessarily invoke the thoughts of afterlife, like If There Is No Heaven. It's more of a chase song to me. It sounds like something you'd see during a car chase in a movie. I really love that album, and I love this song, and I'm sure there's other people I'll hear from on that. Number 27, If There Is No Heaven, from Shockwave Supernova, the first of 6 of them. Number 26, I think this might actually qualify as kind of proggy, because the opening is very like other instrumentation, and then his guitar finally comes in about a minute and a half into the song. Number 26 is Wormhole Wizards, the half of a title track from Black Swans and Wormhole Wizards from 2010. Another one of my favorite Satriani albums. Wormhole Wizards is... I don't know if it really invokes, again, the thought of a wormhole. The nice thing about Satriani's music is it's easy to visualize it. And I love the kind of visualizing I do with his stuff. This actually makes me visualize fractals, if that makes any sense at all. I love watching fractal videos, and this song goes great with something like that. Slower one, and then you kick into the high gear fractals in the middle. It's really fantastic, and if you've not heard any of these, you need to seek them out online or on vinyl or CD, because they're just fantastic. Number 26, Wormhole Wizards, from Black Swans and Wormhole Wizards, 2010. Number 25, the title track from his debut album, Not of This Earth. Very ethereal. This one does invoke space thoughts to me. Almost like a shuttlecraft passing through different areas of space, looking around at alien life, looking around at the planets around him. Joe spent a great deal of money on that to try and get a deal with a major label, and it paid off for him in a big way. Wasn't yet at that level where he was well known. That would come with the second album and the third album, actually the second and fourth album, but It was enough to get him some radio airplay. Not of This Earth was in frequent rotation on the Blitz 97.9. I think, no, that wasn't the right frequency. I forget the frequency, but it was the Blitz in Columbus, Ohio, which is where I first had my exposure to Satriani back then. And I love his stuff from way back and current. And this one, like I said, it's a very, very much does feel like space, which is what the title implies. Number 25, Not of This Earth, from the album of the same name from 1986, his debut album. Back to Black Swans and Wormhole Wizards from 2010 for number 24, Light Years Away. I like this because it reminds me of something. I don't know how many of you are my age or how many of you watched classic Nickelodeon. When I say classic, I mean Silver Ball era Nickelodeon, before they transformed everything to slime and the blimp and all that stuff. When they were still Silver Ball in the air with the little, going off the air at 8 o'clock at night. There's a piece of music, it's a network music production library piece that they used to use for some of their interstitials. And the opening of Light Years Away reminds me of that, and it brings me back to this happier time in the early 80s when, despite the fact that I was in my late teens and early 20s, I was watching Nickelodeon every day, watching stuff like The Tomorrow People, watching You Can't Do That on Television, watching, what was it called, The Third Eye, watching all these great shows that they had on there. And seeing those interstitials, and Light Years Away kicks into this awesome rock number that is just fantastic. It doesn't evoke space again, Light Years Away. Strangely enough, some of they don't have space titles invoke space. I'll get to those. Number 24 from Black Swans and Wormhole Wizards from 2010, Light Years Away. Number 23 is another one from one of his more recent albums, What Happens Next, which I really love. And if you haven't heard it, you should. It's a song called Smooth Soul. Yeah, this has a great little beat. And when I first heard this song, I started picturing a hallway in a school, a high school. Kids walking to school outside. It's very much a the kind of song that's playing in the background in movies and TVs when kids are getting together, slapping hands and, talking to friends. I see this kind of song playing in the background. Now that's going to sound weird, but that's my movie mind at work. I really like Smooth Soul. It's slower. It's still very intense, and really fantastic song. And not that I feel bad because What Happens Next didn't do that well in sales as well as some of the earlier stuff, and I really wish it had because it's a great album, and I wish more people would hear it. Smooth Soul, number 23 from What Happens Next, 2018. Number 22 is the second of 6 songs from Shockwave Supernova on this list, and I'm a little stunned it's this low because I love the song so much, but there's so much other great stuff from Joe. So much other great stuff. It was difficult doing this list, let me tell you. Carpenters, Hanson, now Joe Satriani. I've had a lot of trouble doing lists like this. Song is A Phase I'm Going Through. This song, I don't know if it's meant to invoke it, but I think of phasing in and out of different situations during the chorus with the intense guitar. I'm worried about putting drops on these, so I don't. You'll have to check it out for yourself. But it has this going in and out of scenes type feel to it, and I really love that. I'm actually surprised it didn't get more airplay. I thought it was one of the best songs on the album. Number 22, A Phase I'm Going Through from Shockwave Supernova. At number 21, another great song. This one, I don't know. I think of wrestling promos or extreme sports promos when I hear this song. I think it's been used on X Games too. From Surfing with the Alien 1987's Crushing Day, number 21. It has a very, it also, and Kim will get this, and Mystery Science Theater fans will get this. The chorus, or the one area of the notes, da 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 da, reminds me of The Creeping Terror. Now, this is not a good thing. That movie is terrible. The guy behind it was even worse. See The Creep Behind the Camera if you haven't seen it. And, but I love that song. I love the beat. It was a fairly big radio hit off the album. And it has been used, like I said, in promos, probably on the X Games, on the old Gravity games that no longer exist. I know I heard it somewhere besides the radio, and I think that's where it was, and that's why it brings that to my head. Number 21, from Surfing with the Alien, 1987, Crushing Day. Number 20 is one of his older songs that really clicks with his live audiences. I've always thought of it as a great extreme sports video song. I've used it when I've done some BMX stuff. This is one of two things that I associate strongly with BMX of his music, because I just, it lends itself to the kind of crazy tricks that some of these bikers do on the dirt course, more than the street course, but I mean, and the jump courses. The song is the Mystic Potato Head Groove Thing from Flying in a Blue Dream, 1989. As this very, tentative start, and then he hits these 5 or 6 notes that, it's hard to describe just instrumental guitar. But I really love the way that this song plays out, and it's perfect for use with extreme sports videos, especially, like I said, I've used it on a couple of BMX videos, and I just really loved it, and I think that fit really well. Number 20, the Mystic Potato Head Groove Thing from Flying in a Blue Dream, 1989. Another song from Shockwave's Supernova coming in at number 19, Stars Race Across the Sky. I always like these because, like Clouds Race Across the Sky, number 30, it's very ethereal, yet it's still rock. It has this rock guitar going through the background, and yet this one does invoke what it's supposed to. I think of watching the stars go by. I used to have this thing when I was a teenager. We were out running around. I would be in the back seat with my mom and my aunt or whatever, and we'd be going to town or whatever, and at night she had this car where if you laid your head back on the back seat, you could see out the back window up above, and you could see the trees going by, and you could see the stars going by, and that's what this song brings back to me. I really love doing that. It was a lot of fun back then. It was very trippy. It's about as far as I go with drugs. I really love the way that song brings that memory back. Number 19, Stars Race Across the Sky from Shockwave Supernova, 2015. Also from Shockwave Supernova. This might surprise people because I know this song divides people. It has a very discordant chorus, if that makes sense, because he keeps changing from major to minor key, and it kind of drives some people crazy. And yet I love it from the opening with the little finger chimes or whatever they were using for that, to get that clicky sound like a little monkey with the little cymbals. I don't know what exactly Joe did to get that sound, but number 18, Cataclysmic, captures it perfectly. The song itself is brilliant, and that chorus, though, like I said, it's very discordant, and if you're not used to it, I know some Satriani fans absolutely hate this song because of that. I'm not one of them. I love it, and I love the way it mixes together. It has very almost an Egyptian feel throughout some of the music because of the way he's playing, the chords he's playing, and the way the background music is working. It invokes pyramids and a few other things to me. I absolutely love it, and I wish people would give it a better shot. Then they can't get past that weird chorus, but it's really something. Number 18 from Shockwave Supernova, again, Cataclysmic. At number 17, this song does invoke exactly what it says it is. Mountain Song from Strange Beautiful Music, released in 2002. Yeah, when I listen to this music, I think of the mountains again. Like on, like I said, with some of these ceremony, particularly. Although this time I think of like watching those Aerial America shows on who runs that, Smithsonian Channel, where they're flying over mountains and such. He couldn't have named it better. It's very majestic. I love the way it flows, and I love the the stark, sudden ending of it. Brings it to a perfect gap, and I see a camera flying up into space to end. It's really the memory, the kind of visions I get from Satriani's music. I know are weird, but they suit me. I don't know what you see. You may see something entirely different, but that's what suits me with Mountain Song, number 17. I mentioned I mentioned Joe is a rabid Star Trek fan earlier on. He's a fan of the entire family of shows. And that's evident with yet another song from Engines of Creation, Borg Sex. Now, the first time I heard this song, I'm not used to Satriani doing synthesizers as well as guitar. And this was a brand new thing to me, although I'd heard stuff from the Extremists and Serving Like the Alien, Not of This Earth. Like I said, I knew those. But I'd never heard anything quite like this. Borg Sex is really kind of a weird song for Joe. And then in Engines of Creation, like I said, was his totally techno experiment. Some critics didn't like it, some did. I think it's a great album, and I think Borg Sex is a great song. I don't quite really think I want to know what Joe was thinking when he wrote this song. That's a pretty terrifying prospect. But the song is great. And I love the synthesizers because I'm a synthesizer fan too. And it was weird to hear it with him. And yet it meshes perfectly. So, number 16, Borg Sex from 2000's Engines of Creation. Halfway up the list at number 15 is the other song I associate with BMX music. BMX extreme sports stuff. Because I've used it for a video. And I really like it for that. Particularly for a group of young performers in BMX that I was a huge fan of. And of course, I'm sitting here, Anthony Napolitan, Garrett Reynolds, Dennis Anderson, Brett Basenowicz. They all figured into the video I made for this. So did Mike Spinner and a few others. This was back in the mid 2000s, probably 2007 or 2008. The song is Why. It's from The Extremist. And it's frequently used also on these shows that I've mentioned before, like the X Games, Gravity Games. A lot of Satriani gets used on those. And it lent itself to what I wanted to do with that video, and now as a result, it's become a favorite song because I associate it with some of my favorite BMX riders and some of my favorite action that I put together in a video for a friend, and they loved it too, and it was terrific, and I will always love that song because of that. Number 15, Why, from 1992's The Extremist. Number 14, the title track from Surfing with the Alien. This is one of two songs that most people know by Satriani because it's been used in commercials, it's been used in the movies, it's been used on television, and it is a great song. I feel bad that they couldn't come to a new deal for the use of the Silver Surfer and Galactus on the covers. They had to substitute a guitar and stuff on the recent re-release of it, but I love this song. I don't necessarily think of Silver Surfer when I hear it because I've never really been a huge Marvel fan. I'm more of a DC guy. I like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, fine, but Silver Surfer really hasn't appeared there yet, only in the offshoot Fox bastard child stuff, Rise of the Silver Surfer. But you put that to him on a Guardians of the Galaxy movie or something, oh yeah, it'll totally lock itself into my head. And it's a great song just overall. Fun, rollicking, jamming, fantastic. Number 14, title track from Surfing with the Alien, 1987. Number 13 is Satriani's best known song. It's also his biggest hit on the Hot 100. It got, it actually, or maybe it's the mainstream rock chart, because it was used for Sony's Walkman campaign for several years. Number 13, Summer Song, also from The Extremists, 1992. Really great, great song, and it evokes summer. It evokes walking around, having fun, running through sprinklers, listening to your Walkman, jumping into a ball pit. It's that kind of thing. It's a summer song. Walks along the beach. There are a lot of great songs that invoke summer. That's one of them, and it works beautifully here. His guitar work excels on this one, and it is fantastic. Number 13, Summer Song, from The Extremist. Number 12 was one of his ballads. Now, Joe does one or two ballads an album, and one of them I really love is this one. And again, it's from Engines of Creation, from 2000, Until We Say Goodbye. This is well known to radio fans. It was a big hit on the mainstream rock chart, and was the only big hit to come out of Engines of Creation. And it's really, this one evokes, unlike Clouds Race Across the Sky necessarily doesn't evoke that for me, this does. I sense watching clouds go by, holding hands with your girlfriend, laying on the back of a hill, and finally having to part at the end of the day until we say goodbye. Does that sound schlocky? Yeah, I know it does. I'm sorry. I love, this is one of his best slower pieces, and never get sick of listening to it, and I really am so glad that it did well enough for him that most people would probably recognize it if they heard it. Fantastic song. Number 12, Until We Say Goodbye, from Engines of Creation, 2000. Number 11, I know a few fans that don't care for this either. I always liked it because I like the way it changes things up. It's mid-tempo, and then it gets up-tempo, and then it goes back to mid-tempo again, because he's trying to evoke the idea of going through a life, and that's what works. Number 11, from Strange Beautiful Music, Chords of Life. Great song. It spotlights a different, a slow, different thing there, and it's really, really fantastic, as you visualize what you're going through, and it takes you through a life. It's really fantastic, and I don't know how else to describe it, because you have to hear it. The thing about all of Satriani's music is you have to be able to hear it and to ingest it yourself so that you can visualize it too. I can't justify you envisioning the same things I do. Everybody envisions different things, and that's the way this song is too. Number 11, Chords of Life. Okay, entering top 10 territory. These are my 10 favorite Satriani songs. And you may have noticed that not all the albums are making the list. It's not because I don't love them. I do love most of them. It is simply that I couldn't think of any song off those albums that really jumped out the way these do. So he is missing 4 or 5 of the albums here, but that doesn't mean I don't listen to them and I don't love them, because I do. Kicking things off with number 10, the only thing to make the list from his, the only new song actually included on his Dreaming number 11 EP from 1988, The Crush of Love. This song is great. Love from the very beginning. The opening chords are amazing. And it is one of his, it's got a rock edge to it, but it's still one of his slower songs. And definitely is a great song for couples. It invokes ideas of love in me, and I think it's really fantastic. I really think Crush of Love does not get heard enough by people, although it is one of his most listened to songs on Spotify. If you don't know it's out there, it's not easy to find because the only place it's available is on the Dreaming Number 11 uh, EP. I think it might be on the Essential Joe Satriani too. I'm not sure. But I love it, and it's number 10 on my list, The Crush of Love. Number 9 is the most recent of the songs on this list. It comes from his brand new album, The Elephants of Mars. And I really love this song the second I first heard it. It starts off with this ethereal piano, goes through a whole, I don't know, half a verse before we get to Joe's guitar. But Faceless has this eerie, unsettling sound. To me, I'll be honest, I've been working on some stories for different stuff. To me, it invokes the sound of severe weather. That sounds crazy. It sounds like it would have fit brilliantly as an end theme to the movie Twister in 1996. Fantastic song. And again, the title, Faceless. What's more faceless than a tornado or a severe thunderstorm? You know, it has that very eerie song and this great chorus of continually rising scales on it of sorts. I don't know how else to describe it. That is just great. It is my favorite song on Elephants of Mars, and the only one to make this list because I'm still not used to the whole album. I've listened to it a few times, but nothing's really stuck to me. Really fantastic except this song, and I love it. Number 9, Faceless from the Elephants of Mars from 2022. At number 8, one of his ballads, and I love this song, A Love Eternal from Super Colossal 2006. This song is so beautiful, and it definitely invokes romance. It's the kind of song you might have with your girl or your guy while you are like holding hands and looking off the side of a boat or a yacht traveling slowly down a river in the evening. It's very romantic and very heartfelt. I feel that it has a lot of heart in it, where the romance comes through on it, and the title itself, A Love Eternal, brings that to the forefront. That's what makes it work. It's just gorgeous, and it's my favorite of all of his ballads, and I really, really think it's underrated by so many people. Number 8, A Love Eternal from Super Colossal. At number 7, another song from Shockwave Supernova, although I'll admit I actually liked the remix version a little bit better from the Shockwave Supernova remixes that's only available as a digital download. You can't get it on vinyl or CD. But I like the original song too. It's Lost in a Memory from 2015. This invokes memories. It invokes somebody going back trying to think about their life. Has some very almost a ghostly quality to it, which I really like, and something that's out there. Perhaps a haunting memory would be a way to put it. Lost in a memory. Absolutely fantastic, and really, I say that too much. Absolutely fantastic. Really invoking, past as intermixing with the present. I really like that. It also is one of his. It's a slightly up tempo, mid tempo, if that makes any sense. And definitely has a rock vibe going all the way through it. Number 7, Lost in a Memory from Shockwave Supernova 2015. Number 6, again, I associate this with snowboarding. I've used this for several snowboarding videos because I love the song and it fits beautifully with some of the stuff I did. It was one of the earliest songs of the more recent Satriani stuff I really fell in love with, and it is number 6 on my list for that reason. From Strange Beautiful Music 2002, Mindstorm. I have put this together with snowboarding videos from all my favorite snowboarders over the years. that I send to friends. You know, I don't post them because, hey, you know, copyright strike. But I made up a great, you know, great videos of these guys. People like who was I using? Danny Davis and Louis Vito and um, Scotty Lego and Mason Aguirre. That group of people. Kevin Pierce, some Sean White sometimes. A lot of great stuff in there. A lot of great sound for it, and the song has the perfect snowboarders vibe. It's perfect. Number 6 from Strange Beautiful Music, Mindstorm from 2002. Okay, the top 5 are the songs that I can't get enough of, that I played over and over and over and over and over and over again on Spotify or on my computer. And I just enjoy them. In fact, one of them was my most played song a couple years ago because I was just playing it constantly. And that's the one at number 5 from 2013's Unstoppable Momentum, Can't Go Back. I love the chorus of this. It has this great quick finger. I love it when Joe's fingers just go nuts and he's changing notes like in 8 seconds, 1/8 of a second, so many notes. Can't Go Back does that, and I love it. It's a great melody line. Not sure what it invokes. This one has a lot of great different styles. I just really love the song. I love the beat. I love the guitar work. Everything about it is perfect to me. Number 5, Can't Go Back from Unstoppable Momentum from 2013. At number 4 is another song with those quick finger movements in the chorus, and it is the highest from one of his newer albums, What Happens Next. Number 4 is Cherry Blossoms. This song is driven a lot by drums. There's a lot of drums on it, but he's got that. I've actually watched him do a video of this and that quick finger work, and I'm like, holy crap, how could anybody do that quick stuff? I mean, I barely learned how to play like 5 basic chords when I was playing the guitar. And I'm like, okay, I wish I had that kind of skills because it just is really amazing. I don't know why Cherry Blossoms is the theme. I don't know what he's thinking of because it's a very melancholy feel to the melody. I think about maybe recent disagreements between people, or thinking about them, or, you know, something going wrong in your life and thinking about it, introspective about it. That's what this brings to mind, not Cherry Blossoms. But the song is called Cherry Blossoms, and it's number 4 on my list. Okay, top 3. I went back and forth on these 3 songs while I was making up this list for the last couple of weeks, because I love all of them and I couldn't make up my mind which one I wanted to do. So I just said I gotta grit my teeth so I can do this for this Thursday and get this done. Number 3 from Is There Love in Space 2004, If I Could Fly. Possibly the most beautiful melody Satriani's ever written. I love this song from start to finish. There's a couple of great covers of it online too that are fantastic. And of course, people have heard parts of it as Coldplay's Viva La Vida, which Satriani sued them over, and they settled out of court. So obviously they were worried that the court was going to find something similar about it. I love this song. I cannot explain how much I love this song. Of the ballad style, I love this the best. I listen to it the most. It gives me great joy to listen to. It puts a big smile on my face every time I hear it. Number 3, If I Could Fly from Is There Love in Space 2004. Number 2 actually evokes what it says it is, because you can't help but think about it. It's so specific. This is a drum-driven song, a completely drum-driven song, and I think when I visualize a video for it, I don't think he did a video for it, but I can see him standing on like those cliffs in Mexico, standing at the top of them playing this song with the birds flying around. I mean, this is what I get in my head. Number 2 from Shockwave Supernova, there's that album again, on Peregrine Wings. Love this song. It is my favorite Satriani song except one. Hard driving rocker. Not that well known, I don't think. I don't. It wasn't really pushed as a single track for album rock radio, but one of Joe's absolute best numbers. Um, like most of that album. I mean, Shockwave Supernova is my favorite album for a reason. It is perfect from beginning to end. I love that album. Um, but I didn't want to have too much. I already have 6 of them on here. I didn't want to add more. Um, I see, peregrine falcons flying around. I can see them flying around their natural habitat in California and Mexico, and it evokes that feeling to me, even though you wouldn't think it would because it is so rock, but it's fantastic. Number 2, runner up by just as much, on Peregrine Wings from Shockwave Supernova 2015. And if you haven't guessed by now, if you're a Satriani fan, you're going, oh God, he's picked that song. Yeah. I love this song. And there's a story behind it that I was unaware of until I actually started getting this list together earlier this week. As I said, Joe is a huge Star Trek fan. He originally wanted to call this song Party on the Enterprise and have dialogue snippets in the song. But unfortunately, Epic and Paramount could not come to a deal, and so it didn't happen. So he changed the title, changed a little bit of around, and came up with my favorite song he's ever done, 2006's Crowd Chant from Super Colossal. Crowd Chant is just this sing-along where the audience is singing along after Joe's guitar work. And then you have this great chorus this song never fails to put a smile on my face, never fails to get a bounce in my step. I would love to be at a sporting event where they're playing this because it would be fun where you could hear it all over. And again, it'd be great for extreme sports as well. Love this song to death, have played it to death, and it's one of my all-time favorite songs, period, not just Joe Satriani stuff. It'll pop up next month again when we get into this. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. And it's going to be... if you've never heard it, you must be living under a rock. Because he's got it on like 5 of his live albums, and it's also, a couple of studio versions. And there's a couple of great covers of this online, too. He's just a really terrific song and a terrific artist and a terrific, wonderfully upbeat, fun party song. Number 1 favorite track by Joe Satriani, Crowd Chant from 2006's Super Colossal. And those are my rankings for the Joe Satriani songs I love. I am a huge fan of his, as I said. It does fall out of my wheelhouse, according to some people, but they're wrong. I'm an instrumental buff to boot, and Richard McCook recently did a thing on his channel about instrumentals that's got me to thinking. I'm going to end up doing a whole series of instrumental shows, 4 of them, in October, that are going to split up the different types of music, and where I can focus on pop, rock, what I decide on? Pop, rock, smooth jazz, and new age, and soundtrack music. And those will be coming up in October, my rankings of my favorite songs of each of those types of instrumental music. And I hope that you'll be around for that as well. And I hope you'll continue to watch this show. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. And if you have, thank you. And don't forget to spread the word, because I need all the help I can get. I'm still trying to get to 500 so I can get that community tab going. I've got plenty of things I want to use it for. And I hope that... you enjoy this and tell people, hey, I loved this, go listen to this. Or, hey, this lunatic pop guy says he knows Joe Satriani. Why don't you go tell him otherwise? I'll take that too, whatever it takes, because I really do love Joe Satriani. And if you haven't commented, please do. I love reading your comments and interacting with you that way. And you can always drop me an email too. My email's in the show notes every week. I hope that you will continue to enjoy this. And as October rolls around and we get into the instrumental month, I hope that you will have fun with that too, because I have all kinds of instrumental tastes. And some of them are going to be on more than one list. Some of the smooth jazz will probably make the pop list and vice versa, and so on and so forth, because they all crossed over. And, well, you can't avoid it. So, trying to avoid it would be too hard. In any case, I hope you enjoyed this, and I thank you for watching. For Rank This, I'm TC Kirkham, the Kirkham Report. Thank you. Ciao, baby. See you soon.